you think you know Redbreast? Well, this whiskey is here to prove you wrong. It's rich, it's raw, it is unapologetic, and quite a lot of Redbreast fans have never even tasted it. Welcome to the Redbreast Diaries, where I have been looking at everything Redbreast Irish Whiskey. I have been drinking the bottles from one of the most iconic whiskey brands in the world. And today's whiskey was a limited edition whiskey that they released. And it was quite hard to get my hands on, but I did, just for you. I'm good like that. So today we are looking at Redbreast 10-year-old Cask Strength edition. Now this isn't actually just a limited edition whiskey for limited edition whiskey's sake. It's actually a 30-year anniversary celebratory whiskey. Hooray! Class! I love that. And it was based on the 1991 date. Essentially that year was the year that Redbreast got brought back to life after almost a decade of essentially just having ceased production. It was dead, it was gone. We didn't know if that bird was ever going to fly again. And in 1991, Pernod Ricard, or Irish distillers, brought Redbreast as we know it back to life. And this whiskey is just celebrating that. Love it. Love a great celebration, alright? Especially when whiskey's involved, even better. And for any of you who don't know, the previous owners and the original owners of Redbreast were Gilby and Sons. They were spirit and wine merchants based out of London. Then they moved to Dublin, and that's when this wonderful brand came to life. So that's who it originated with, and now it sits with Irish distillers down in Middleton in County Cork, where their distillery is based, where they make Jameson, Powers, all kinds of wonderful Irish whiskey is made down there, including Redbreast 10-year-old. And if you actually ever wanted to know any of this information and you got a hold of this bottle, it's all written down the sides quite nicely. Look at this. Just there's some dates there for you, lovely. And then there are the modern dates along the side there. But yes, so this was originally launched through the Birdhouse. I think it was a lottery ballot you had to get it through. Now you can buy Redbreast 10-year-old, which is exclusive to Bow Street in Dublin and the Middleton Distillery down in Cork. But that comes in at 43%. I think you can get your name on it, which is pretty cool. This, however, comes in at 59.1% ABV. That is 118.2 proof. So this is gonna be a spicy, spicy meatball. And just look at that cool label. I love it. Like, you've got the retro looking robin on the top there. You've got the signature by the master blender Billy Layton, and you've got some great information on the label there too. Now some of the stuff that it says on the label, it says single pot still, so that means that one distillery, the Middleton Distillery down in Cork, made this whiskey. Pot still, that means they use malted and unmalted barley to create this whiskey. It's kind of like the signature style of Irish whiskey, a bit like they have single malt in Scotch, which we also make single malt, but our signature style isn't that. Our signature style is single pot still Irish whiskey, which is this. 10 years old, so that means that the youngest whiskey in this bottle is at least 10 years old. But some of the whiskies I have read that go into this bottle are up to 15 years old. But you can't write that onto the bottle, right? You have to write the youngest, which is 10 years old. And then in true Redbreast fashion, this has also been matured in ex-bourbon barrels and Oloroso sherry butts. But there is a catch that is different with this whiskey. The thing that is different with this bottle is in the Middleton Distillery, they make a pot still called light pot still, which is light. They make a pot still called medium pot still. Alright, that's Goldilocks. It's just right. And then they also make a pot still called heavy pot still. And most of the other Redbreast expressions out there use two of them. This one has all three combined. Love it. So those three magical distillates put together, high cask strength ABV, wonderful aging, made in a great distillery. What could go wrong? Oh, yes. Oh my god, I love that smell. It's like big, dark, amber honey, just rich straight from the beehive. Oh yeah, so it's also got that like earthy oak note, maybe some figs on the aroma, some of those like malty sort of biscuity notes coming out as well, and it's got some of that kind of classic Redbreast sherry aroma coming off it as well, along with all of these other aromas. But you can definitely tell that this is a high ABV proof. Like these aromas are turned up. The intensity of aroma is pushing it quite high. But yeah, there is something just like old world about this. You know, it's not finessed. It's like it's almost like an Ernest Hemingway novel. You know, it just is what it is, and we love it for that. Oh wow. Yeah, this is Cask Strength. Now, if anyone has had cask strength whiskey before, they will know that alcohol can carry flavour. A bit like anyone who cooks at home, alright? Salt, sugar, fat, they carry flavour. Too much, you'll unbalance it. But alcohol is pretty much the same way, right? So, too much alcohol and you can unbalance a whiskey. But this is just big, it's fatty, it's juicy, it's full bodied. The first hit in my mouth is just spice. It is like pepper, allspice, some cloves in there. Like that's definitely now transferring into like a wee bit of that spiced grated nutmeg on my palate. Definitely a leathery note in there, but the finish that's now starting to kick in, and I mean like this is long past medium. I reckon because it's still like the flavor's still quite intense, but the finish is coming in like an almondly like marzipan. There's no marzipan. It's like a marzipan. Yeah, I think I got there. Uh, Maybe it's stronger than I thought, but like, yeah, I'm getting like that marzipan with some berries on the finish as well. Mm. That berry note is back in full force. There's like definitely that cereal, that biscuity note that I got in the aroma, like digestive biscuits. It's there. That marzipan is still playing about. That spice is just roaring through. But honestly, probably the biggest note of this whiskey is the mouthfeel. That like fatty, juicy, full-bodied mouthfeel, and it just feels like it's being dripped, like deep, sticky treacle down the back of my molars. It is just going into every taste bud, every crevice in my mouth, and it is coating it with this whiskey. But I'll leave it. I'll let it evolve a wee bit more. I'll just let this finish pull through. A wee bit of air brings out that leathery kind of note there, which is quite nice. Should I add water to a limited edition cask strength Redbreast 30th anniversary 10-year-old, possibly never to be made again? Well, I suppose I have to, right? That can actually be the good thing about cask strength whiskey, right? Because you can bring it to like a strength that you're happy with, you know, because whiskey's personal. Do it however you wish. Don't let anyone else tell you that you can't add water, you can't add ice, you can't add cola to your whiskey. You can if you want, but I'm gonna add water right now. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me I can't do it. I'll do it right now. Watch me, right? I'm gonna add some water right now. Also, how cool is my water jug? That's probably enough. Remember, you can't take water out of your whiskey, all right? I can always add more if I need to. Give it a wee swirl. Make sure all of those kind of like sugars and water and all just go together. Some people are screaming at the screen right now, don't add any more water. Ooh, yeah, okay. Here, that water really helped. That kind of like raisiny brown sugar, light honey is like really apparent. The oak, that cereal, that biscuity note, like really like toasted oak is coming off now with some orange peel as well. That water really helped that aroma just light up a little bit. Definitely doesn't have the same intensity as it did, but the aromas are definitely coming out. Hmm. Okay. There's a lot more sweetness with the water. Not as heavy on that pot still spice at the start. It's a bit more of that vanilla maybe on the palate. a wee touch of the raisins, the sherry, that fruit cake. Less maybe of the leather, definitely more of that toasted oak coming through. I wouldn't say smooth. This whiskey is still big, right? It maybe has lost some of that mouthfeel that I loved so much. But some of those flavors, definitely the more obvious flavors are coming out there. That vanilla, that spice vanilla is coming out. But would I add water to this again? Maybe. Probably not. Probably not, if I'm honest. I probably wouldn't. But maybe. You know? If you have one at home, give it a go. Sure, why not? See what comes out. Alright? But this whiskey is also about the character and the history that it is trying to bring back for us to remember. Remember that Redbreast, as we know it, is relatively new. 30 years isn't that long. And that they brought back a much loved brand. Remember the Redbreast executive at Gilbey's spirit and wine merchant. He was a huge ornithologist, so he was a fanatic with birds, and he called 3 of his whiskies after birds, and one of them was Redbreast. So there's a lot of love that went into this bottle previous to 1991. So it's great to see that kind of being brought back in such a cool little retro labeling with some information about all that, like I said, on the side of the box. This is the granddad of the family that drinks whiskey out of a boot by the fire, telling old stories while, I don't know, head-butting a boron. Full of character. And we love it. We love him. We love this whiskey for it. But it is kind of sad though, because we are getting to taste whiskey that possibly would have been the same sort of style, that would have been drank once upon a time, that we don't really taste much anymore. We very rarely ever get to see producers making something that is big, full-bodied, oily as this. I don't know why. Maybe our palates have changed. Maybe it's not cost effective. Maybe just styles have changed. But that's why tasting this is almost like tasting a wee bit of history, and that's quite fun to do from time to time. But if you're new to Redbreast and the world of Irish whiskey, or just whiskey in general, and you do have a bottle of this, or you do see a bottle of it, I wouldn't dive in straight away just yet, alright? Maybe work your way through a few more whiskies, because, I don't want you to be scared off. Maybe you love it, but also maybe it will be like lighting a leathery boot in your mouth full of clove and cinnamon and spice with loads of honey. I don't know if that sounds good or bad. Part of me kind of thinks that sounds good. Or maybe I've just drank too much Cask Strength. I think this is time for me to shut this one down. All right, have a good one. Thanks for watching. Give me a wee like and a subscribe. Sláinte. Cheers.